right? So you have to pay attention to this. Oregon, Washington, Colorado growers pay attention to this, all right? Growers in places where it's illegal haven't cared about it, that they're going to care about it when the state regulations catch up to them. So this is one mode of action. I'll describe another thing, how it then wards off insects using the same ingredient. So here, the other major pest of cannabis are mites. All right, mites are a little bug that even in this scale you're not going to see much of it, but they're the little white specks here where they bend and they poke little holes on the underside of the leaves. All right, and they start laying their eggs within 2 days of hatching out of their eggs. They're not insects, they're spiders, they're arachnids. So they don't respond to all insecticides. They need a material that really focuses on the spidery side, the arachnid side of it, okay? So in this case, the mode of action is different. Instead of it coating the leaf surface, the product in our first generation does it safely by coating the insect or the arachnid, the spider itself. These little creatures, they don't have lungs to breathe with. They breathe through their skin, which is like a hard shell. It's like a crab shell, all right? But they have little holes in that crab shell, the shell, all right? And what happens is when you spray this product and contact them, it clogs up those pores in which they use to breathe. And they suffocate and die. And that's the same with a fully grown or juvenile mite, as well as their eggs. All right? So the mode of action there is to cover the pest and have them suffocate. All right? And as you can see, this leaf, if the sheriff had allowed us, I would have brought that plant with us. But we have treated this plant every day for the last 3 months. And you can actually see this leaf. It's nice and healthy and green now. There's no mites on it. And basically, this is a good way, a mode of action. So really, an almost natural product, taking care of business, but as you can see, it's more work to take care of the plant that way. It's not a magic bullet which goes inside, but then again, it's not going to leave a residue for the state regulators to pick up and tell you flunked the state residue crop and your crop is done, all right? So we're solving the problem that way. So that's two of the most common pests in the cannabis industry again: powdery mildew, a fungus, and then spider mites, which is an arachnid, little tiny thing. They're very microscopic. You'll notice that a lot of growers will have magnifying glasses. They need that because if you don't detect the mites, by the time you see them, by the time you see the damage, visually, you're done. They already got 1 million eggs per leaf. And in fact, when you apply an insecticide when it's heavily infested, the leaf will be heavily damaged because it's going to use all those little holes that the mites poked into the leaf, and your chemical is going to go right into the leaf, zip right in, and you're going to look like it just went through an oven within a day or two. Right? It's going to desiccate it pretty well. So we have mildew control and mite control from the same product. We plan on having, and we do have, other highly refined products for even more rigorous pests of cannabis. So for example, this is a product that we are introducing right now, which is based on thyme oil. You know, thyme, the little nice Italian spice, happens to produce a lot of similar chemistry that marijuana does. It produces what's called terpenoids. And these terpenoids, and that's why plants aren't producing terpenoids to get you high. Plants produce terpenoids to make it more resistant to insects and other things that want to eat it, all right? They're using it for their own defense. Thyme products do the same thing. So thyme produces a large amount of terpenes, which are active insecticides. And so with my experience in doing these botanical extracts, we have found around the world sources of thyme oil that specifically can ward off insects. And it's a more powerful one. It's a little more expensive, but it's designed so that when you get a heavy infestation, that you can go in there and basically fumigate your crop and then clean it up that way. Because not everybody is going to have the resources to monitor and spray their crop twice a week. All right, and honestly, a lot of people are going to go and just not look at their crop for a week or two. They're going to say, I got this infection. And for those products, we have a more rigorous, good, better, best kind of thing. So the Thyme products are more of a fumigant. When you use it, you know you're using it because it's got a really nice pine sol kind of odor. If you're growing in your greenhouse, you probably don't want to be in there the first few hours because it's going to smell a lot like very powerful pine sol around your thing. It'll disappear in about 6 hours or so. So that's the kind of approaches that we have to solving the insecticide problem. There is all of this has a lot of natural science. You can see I'm not just pulling that kind of oil out of nowhere. A lot of information is out there. The reason why the major companies don't push solutions like Thyme oil is because it's too simple. All right, it's not very expensive, but you have to have some expertise to know where it comes from. So I spend a lot of time figuring out where to get Thyme oil. You can get it in Europe, in Spain, in India, in China, and so I've found sources of Thyme oil which have really good natural pesticide control. All right, and so that's the direction that we're headed as CanCare. Good naturally based pesticide ingredients. We use it in different ways. Another product we have is called Thyme Bomb. It's a solid product that you incorporate by either dusting the leaf or putting it in your potting soil where it eliminates other things. So we have a product where through the life cycle where you're creating a whole brand new grow, and you want to make sure that the soil you're using is completely free of microbes. This is the largest source of some things such as root rot and other soil-borne diseases, all right? So for those of you in Oregon, especially those of you on the western side of the Cascades, you have a lot of root rot organisms everywhere. It's naturally present in the soils. If you do not create a nice growing condition where you have good drainage and exchange, those little bugs are going to take off and they're going to invade the roots, and your mature plant will keel over and die in front of your eyes, and you're going to be a very sad grower. All right? So that's a big affliction. Probably accounts for losses of 25 to 30% of field-grown cannabis in Western Oregon. All right? So they're learning how to pay attention to this, and so we're working with them to come up with a soil treatment for that. If you want to know some big scientific words, the two organisms most popular in creating root rot are called Phytophthora and Pythium. Pythium's easier, right? So, but the thing about these soil-borne diseases is there's a lot of them. There's more than a half dozen of them, all right? And so they're similar to the fungal diseases that create the Sutton oak disease, okay? So Phytophthora, which means Phytophthora actually means a killer of plants, right? It's an organism that naturally exists in soil, and when you don't grow your plants correctly, the infection in your root zone takes off and eventually kills your plant, all right? So we have minimal risk pesticides, to summarize. We're working with individual states to approve them. We have communications with the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and they're saying what you're doing is the right way of doing it. You got to go state by state and get them to review it. We have a remarkable approval in the state of California already. So documents in hand. So as you go forward in the cannabis cultivation, this is what you need to ask for. What government approvals do you have to be selling your pesticides? Because that is not a straightforward area. You can't just make those claims and have a legal product. It's all about legal products, right? So we're trying to do that. A lot of our products are going to be organically certified, for example, by Omri. We use food-grade ingredients whenever possible, including kosher-grade ingredients. I can't put that on the label. I just wanted to tell you that. Okay. So that's